I'm pleased to welcome to our convention the team of James 5 Consulting. Their topic is, Are We Ready for the Extreme Future? Yes, thank you. It gives us great pleasure to share with you our research, first presented to our classmates at Nova University. We have 5 major themes facing teachers, principals, students, parents, and taxpayers who are the principal stakeholders in education. To begin, Steve will explain why you were given a chance to listen and watch our presentations in your homes before we showed up today to be at your convention. You might also wonder why you were given our notes for our presentations ahead of the actual speeches. Let's go, Steve. Okay, thank you very much, Jose. This is the future of learning styles. This extreme future puts forward the idea that we have to think about what it was like in the beginning of this previous century with Myers-Briggs and various testing methods, and then think back to the enormous impact Howard Gardner had on teaching and how people presented information. The focus at that time was, how do teachers present their lessons? We all heard something like, "Oh, my classes are filled with visual and active learners. I just don't know what I'm going to do." And the paradigm was, what can the teacher do to engage the child? The focus was, therefore, for the last 30 years, we've been figuring out how can we make the presentations more entertaining? How can we appeal to these students? Whereas we need also to find out, how do we test the students' understanding? While our schools are mandated to give standardized tests, Gardner insists that there would be variations. He asked, in fact, can biology be taught and assessed in a variety of ways? And this is where we come up with the concepts of videos in the classroom, videos for presentations, exhibitions instead of written tests, and narratives. You might be wondering why you had a chance to look at your presentation before we showed up at your convention. Our presentations here depend on the following quote by Gardner. Measures of understanding may seem demanding, particularly in contrast to current efforts to measure what students know. Performing one's understanding is likely to stress students, teachers, parents who have become accustomed to traditional ways of testing. However, a performance approach is justified when students realize they will have to apply knowledge and demonstrate insights in a public forum. They assume a more active stance to their material, seeking to exercise their performance muscles when possible. In other words, we don't know if you really understand these YouTube presentations until we hear you ask questions about it. So we want to get quickly to the questions that people have been asking. In other words, the classroom is for questions and the lecture goes on video. So in the future, there will be no lectures in the classroom. Lectures will be given on audio CDs and MP3 files for audio learners and on YouTube for visual learners. Students will arrive in class with the information already in their heads, and they will have prepared questions for the teacher. The reason for being in class is for discussion and clarification. So the consequences for teachers will be that teachers will have to learn how to become adept at asynchronous teaching. Teachers will have to place material where it's possible for students to find it. So, in order to test your understanding, we want you now to write to eddsteve@gmail.com and go ahead and send some questions. We will answer these questions, if not by email, certainly within our Illuminate session. So, we're going to ask you, what is the future of learning? What role do videos have to play in learning? And what is the future of lecturing in the classroom? Now, Vanessa will tell you about the second extreme future.